So I really don't have an agenda. I'd like to avoid having an agenda. I've tried to avoid speaking as much this year as last year and give the board the space to perform successfully. And I'd really like to congratulate the board on sticking to agendas and getting the business of the meetings done in the meeting instead of preparing for the meeting in the meeting. I'd also like to acknowledge Superintendent Dye reaching out to the community and really having sessions and ability to dialogue with the community. With that said, I think I speak for a lot of parents who don't have a voice on this board, that their voice is just not being heard in the community. And they do believe that CRT is in our schools, whether you call it CRT or not, that there's a racial bias that's replacing the old racial bias with a new racial bias instead of removing
point of order,
as we should be doing. They also believe that the CSE that's being taught in our schools is not age appropriate, is not appropriate topics. And I would like to see the board avoid getting into these political ideologies and take care of the basics of educating our children. I think that the inclusion of last year's event at North Eugene High School that brought a drag event that promoted a specific
point of order, Chair.
That
point of order means stop the meeting because there's discrimination happening. I am not going to sit through this discrimination this year from Harry Singer.
So I am literally asking for us to avoid discriminating.
Point of order.
Laural, I think that looks like Harry is frozen.
Because they're labeled as discriminatory before they have a chance to dialogue and speak.
No.
I believe that the board's actions have led to an environment that is now reaching a powder keg. That I am aware
point of order is
of groups on the left and groups on the
Robert's
right.
Rules that says we must stop the meeting.
I'm aware of groups on the left
We
and
have
groups on the right. Is this by 3 minutes or is it not?
Discriminatory and racial harassment, and I will not stand for this in this meeting.
We also have rules around the freedom of speech, and I am going to let Harry finish.
But you are not a lawyer, and so you're wanting his freedom of speech, which has been now derogatory against people that are dressed differently and have different sexual orientation, and against Black people. You're saying that is more valuable than me being in this meeting.
So, Ms. O'Rourke, if you would please let me
So I'm not
finish.
talking to you, Harry. I'm talking to my chair.
Right, Laural, and point of order brings it to me to make the decision, and I would like Harry to just finish so we can move along with the meeting.
No, the point of order means the board decides.
No, point of order means that I decide.
So thank you for deciding for discrimination and for Harry Singer.
So, Laural, I believe Robert's Rules of Order states that you can request a vote if you disagree with the board chair's ruling. Okay.
Looks like left the meeting. Please add 30 seconds, Harry, and then let's wrap it up.
Okay, I will try to wrap it up, Chair Boz. So what I'm trying to ask though tonight, there's a powder keg about to erupt in Eugene this weekend. There's an event being held at Old Nick's on Sunday that has already threats of armed activists, I believe, on both sides of the aisle coming out. I'd like to see this diffused. I'd like to see people not show up and make an event out of this. And I would really like for the board to speak to that as well and ask people not to show up and create a problem where we don't need one in our community. And I only have the voice I have here. I really appreciate the voice that the board has. I think you're very influential in the community, and that, yeah, I would like to avoid discrimination of any sort. And, that means hearing from people from both sides, but in the appropriate venues and forums where that should happen. So thank you.
Harry, I appreciate you wrapping it up. I just want to note that the legal advice we have been given as of now is that we are not interrupting people from speaking unless they are inciting, using what the Supreme Court has referred to as fighting words, and I am going to stick with having allowed Harry to finish speaking.